So in last class, we were discussing about the foreign policy of India. Hai? Chalo. Foreign policy of India. And first point in this theme was what is foreign policy of India. So what is foreign policy of India? Tell me. Hmm? What is foreign policy of India? Foreign policy is a policy through which a nation maintains its relations. And what is the objective of the foreign policy of any nation? To fulfill national interests, right? And national interests are different of each and every country, but objective of the foreign policy similar. Next point. Hmm? Determinants of domestic and global. Domestic: geography, history, leaders, population, right? Culture. These are the domestic factors. Global factors, for example, India's foreign policy determined by the Cold War. Next point. Stay of foreign policy of India. So 1974 to 1991, 1991 to 2008, 2008 to 14, and 2014 to. Okay. So note down first point. 1947 to 1991. 1947 to 1991. Note down in this point. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is father of India's foreign policy. Father of India's foreign policy. He believed in idealistic foreign policy. Idealistic foreign policy. Right? Next point. After the Nehru era, Nehru era, Nehru era. Harsh Kumar Rai, good evening. Yeah. After the Nehru era, during the period of Indira Gandhi, India's foreign policy shifted towards realistic. Because Indira Gandhi started nuclear program in India. Clear? So Nehru era and Indira era. So what is the difference between Nehru era and Indira era? Real idealistic and realistic. Idealistic means cooperation. Nehru believed in global institutions, international institutions, and Nehru believed that the issue of Jammu Kashmir. should be solved with the mediation of international organization, right? So Indus River Water Treaty 1960 with the mediation of the World Bank. So Nehru believed in the importance of the international institution. But during the era of the Indira Gandhi, India emerged as powerful country and powerful because India's Indira Gandhi personality of Indira Gandhi was very different, and personality of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was very different, right? So this is the difference between Nehru's foreign policy and India's foreign policy. Next, 1991 to 2008. 1991 to 2008. Note down in this point. In 1991, USSR collapsed or declined. 1991, USSR collapsed or declined. Right. So 1945 to 1991 was the period of Cold War, and Cold War means war between two nations and war between two ideologies. War between two nations means USA and USSR, and war between two ideology means clear. So in 1991, USSR collapsed, and there is a thinker Francis Fukuyama. What is the name? Francis Fukuyama. He wrote a book, End of History, End of the History and the Victory of the Liberal Democracy. He said, or he declared that after the decline of USSR, only USA is powerful country at the global level. And this is the unipolar world. Unipolar world means only one power at the global level. Because before 1991, there were two powers and two blocks, two ideologies and two nations and two persons. Two persons means president of the USSR and president of the USA. But when the USSR collapsed, Francis Fukuyama wrote a book, End of History and the Last Man and Victory of the Liberal Capitalist Ideology, and he declared that after the decline of the USSR, there is only one power, that is, or this is USA. So there is no conflict at the global level. This is the victory of the liberal capitalist ideology. There is no place for the conflict, right? So Francis Fukuyama was the professor of the political science, and the student of the Francis Fukuyama, Samuel P. Huntington. What is the name? Samuel P. Huntington. He was also associate professor of the political science. He wrote a book and answered to the Francis Fukuyama. And what is the name of the book of the Samuel P. Huntington? Clash of Civilization. He wrote that this is true, that there is victory of USA and there is only one power, that is USA. What? There is space for the conflict, and conflict, clash or conflict or clash of civilization. उन्होंने कहा क्या होगा? Clash between or among the civilization. So Christianity किससे conflict करेगी? With the Islam, with the Muslim civilization. This was the hypothesis of the Samuel P. Huntington, that there is end and after the decline of the USSR, this is true that there is no conflict between USA and USSR. What? Conflict कभी end नहीं होता, because what is the basic meaning or definition of the politics? Struggle for power. Now the civilizations are fighting or struggle to gain power. Now, which civilizations are dominant at the global level? So there is Christianity and there is Islam. But उन्होंने कहा कि there is also Hindu, but there is no conflict of Hindu civilization, Sanatan civilization with the Christianity, because Hindu civilization is limited to the India. So Hindu civilization will fight to the Islam in India or regionally, but at the global level, the Christianity will fight to the Islam. So George W. Bush in 2001 or after the 2001 started a new concept, a new world order. And he declared that there is only one power, USA. And after 2001 or 2008, America, USA, started conflict against the Gulf country, Iraq, right? Saddam Hussein, the decline of the Saddam Hussein. America declared that the Iraq or Saddam Hussein has weapons of the mass destruction. But there are no evidence of the weapons of mass destruction. So this was the real implication of the hypothesis of the Samuel P. Huntington. Because America is hero, और hero कब hero होता है? When there is a villain in the movie. This is movie, just like a movie. Global politics, just like a movie. America is a hero. What is the importance of a hero in a film if there is no villain? है? So there is a need to make a villain. So since 1991, who was the villain? USSR. After the 1991, if there is no villain, then how you can declare that I am a hero? So Samuel P. Huntington wrote a book or make a hypothesis or made a hypothesis and declared that next villain is not Islam, Gulf countries, because Gulf countries are non-democratic. So you have to approach to this particular, and Gulf countries have huge natural resources. So to justify as a hero, USA declared Gulf countries as villain. But getting my point. So this is the international politics. Politics on the basis of the ideas of the thinker. Right? So during this particular scenario, when the professors of the Harvard, professors of the Oxford, they were writing certain books, then India is tilting towards USA because there is only unipolar world. There is only one power, right? So during this period, 1947 to 1991, India was a good friend of USSR. But after the 1991, after the decline of the USSR, we are shifting towards USA because all the remaining world is shifting towards USA because USA is powerful country. Clear? Huh. In 1991, USSR decline or collapsed. Right. Next point. After the decline of USSR, after the decline of USSR, there was only one superpower, USA. US. So India or India's foreign policy, shifted towards USA. So in 1991 and in 1991, India started diplomatic relations with the USA. In 1992, India started diplomatic relations with the Israel because Israel and America both are opposition or both are friend. They are friend, not friend. They are natural friend. There is a concept in the international relation, natural friend. When you saw a person first time and you feel that this is just like me. तो ऐसा ना होता किसी को देख के लगता है कि ये बस मेरे लायक है. This is the natural friend. Same characteristics in a person. So they are अच्छा, USA and India after 1991 they are natural friend. But USA and Israel they are natural friend. Right? Clear? So this is our foreign policy during this particular period in 1919. So after the 1991 or before the 1991, before the 1991, India is close friend of the USSR, and after the 1991, India is shifting towards. Clear point? Next point. In 2001, परवेज अली, राहुल यादव, नमस्ते नमस्ते. यूट्यूब पे चल रहा है ना क्लास, रनिंग ऑन द यूट्यूब. ठीक है. पैलेस्टाइन एंड इजराइल, ठीक है, मैं समझ गया. परवेज अली समझ गया ये कौन है. चलो अच्छी बात है. हाँ, क्या लिखा? In 2001, USA declared new world order. New world order in which USA is USA is superpower. Right? So, acha, look, 1945 to 1991, the world is bipolar, unipolar, or multipolar. Not two polar, bipolar. Two polar is not a good. Why? Polar. When I was pursuing MA in political science, and there was sessional paper of this international relation. So I wrote two polar world in examination. So the examiner underlined this, और उसमें उसने हिंदी mention in हिंदी language कि आके मिलो. क्या लिखा उसने? प्रोफेसर ने आके मिलो. खुशी खुशी गया इन द चैम्बर ऑफ द प्रोफेसर. ने कहा गिव द कॉपी. उसने कॉपी फेंक दी मेरे ऊपर. उसने कहा यू आर परसुइंग एमए इन पॉलिटिकल साइंस एंड यू डू नॉट नो दैट व्हाट इज द बाइपोलर एंड टू पोलर. मैंने कहा आई एम सॉरी सर. मैंने कहा सॉरी क्या? मैंने कहा प्रेशर था एग्जामिनेशन का. उसने कहा अच्छा पक्का? मैंने कहा 100%. बट सीरियसली मैं कंफ्यूज था बाइपोलर टू पोलर में. राइट? तो टू पोलर इज नॉट अ गुड टर्म. यूनिपोलर, bipolar and multipolar, right? So during this particular period, the world was bipolar. One pole, one block is USA and second block USSR. During this period, the world is unipolar because only USA, the powerful country is USA. But after 2008, the world became multipolar because other countries also emerging as powerful countries. Brazil, Argentina, China, India, Japan, Italy, Germany, France, right? So the world is becoming multipolar, right? Clear? So bipolar, unipolar, and bipolar. Clear point? Next point, 2008 to 2014. No doubt. The world is becoming multipolar. It means multipolar. It means various centers of powers are emerging. For example, emerging. For example, Brazil, Japan, France, Italy, Germany. Etc. Right? Next point. In this multipolar world, comma, India's foreign policy is pragmatic. Pragmatic. Pragmatic foreign policy means practical foreign policy. सर कोर्स ज्वाइन करने के लिए कहाँ कांटेक्ट करना है? दीक्षांत आईएएस में करना है भैया. कहाँ करना है? दीक्षांत आई. देखो कोर्स बिक रहा है. समझ आई? मेरे आते कोर्स बिकने लगा. राइट? कोई बात नहीं. हाँ. So in this multipolar world, India's foreign policy is pragmatic, right? Next point. Pragmatic foreign policy means. Pragmatic foreign policy means. India. Pragmatic foreign policy means India is maintaining. India is maintaining good relations to the countries. For example, to the countries. For example, good relations with USA and Russia. USA and clear. Next, good relations with Palestine, Russia. Good relations with Israel and Palestine. Clear? So this is next 2014 to next is 2014 to. So this is era of not multipolar, era of Modi ji. This is Modi era. This is Modi era. So what do you think that foreign policy during the period of Modi ji is different or not? क्या लगता है आप लोगों को कि मोदी जी के टाइम में फॉरेन पॉलिसी में कुछ बदलाव आ रहे हैं या नहीं आ रहे? There are some different features of the Modi's foreign policy or not? Or this is similar like 1947, like foreign policy of Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi and other. What are the changes in India's foreign policy during this particular period or Modi's era? ऐसा मत करो भैया. ऐसा मत करो. क्या चाहते हो? मतलब इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन में मान रहा हूँ, दिस इज द वेरी क्रूशियल सब्जेक्ट और दिस इज नॉट वेरी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. बट ये दिल का गाना तो मत बजाओ. वो निकल गया टाइम. 14 फरवरी तो गई. अब क्या ये सब बजा रहे हो? पेपर देना है कि नहीं इस बार? प्रीलिम्स. तो फिर ये सब क्या है? कोई बात नहीं. चलो क्लियर है. अच्छा, नोट डाउन इन दिस पॉइंट. फीचर्स ऑफ फीचर्स ऑफ फीचर्स ऑफ फॉरेन पॉलिसी ऑफ मोदी गवर्नमेंट. फर्स्ट पॉइंट, neighborhood first. First feature, neighborhood first. Neighborhood first. So this is the essential of the Modi's foreign policy, that we are giving priority to the neighbors countries, right? So this is not a very new feature of India's foreign policy. Right? This is not very new feature of India's foreign policy, because during the period of the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, during the period of the Indira Gandhi, during the period of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, during the period of the 𝐼𝐾 Gujral doctrine, and during the period of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and during the period of the Manmohan Singh, India always provided priority to the neighbors countries. But why this is a feature of Modi's foreign policy? Because Modi is doing something different. For example, since 1947, we were using very soft diplomacy towards the Pakistan. But Modi ji isolated the Pakistan and we focused on Southeast Asia and we changed the name policy toward the Southeast Asia. Look to act Eastia. Like clear? Look से क्या कर दिया act. अभी बात करेंगे सब चीजों. So uh, this is the feature of the Modi's foreign policy that we are focusing towards neighbor countries. Right? This is the first feature of Modi's policy. Next second feature. Forging. FOR GING. ऐसे इसको काट दो फॉरगिंग कट द फॉरगिंग लिखो फोकसिंग नॉट फॉर फोकसिंग फोकसिंग international relationships focusing international relationships in promoting focusing international relationships in promoting trade and development strategic and trade and development strategic ties 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 with USA strategic TIES ties with USA. So first feature of Modi's foreign policy is focusing on, and second, we are focusing on multipolar world, but we are also maintaining strategic relations with USA, right? Acha, before Modi's era, the focus of India's foreign policy was on social, political, economic aspects and dimensions. But after the 2014, we are focusing on strategic point of view. Strategic point of view means military relations with the other nations. We are focusing on security dimension and security perspective. So foreign policy also has dimensions: social, economic, political. Political means dialogues at the level of the political leader. This is a political foreign policy. Economic foreign policy means we are engaging with the trade, right? And cultural or social political foreign policy means we are just engaging on the basis of the culture. What strategic foreign policy? Strategic foreign policy is different, that we are sharing information related to the military. We are sharing critical information. We are sharing critical information related to the military. We have military exercises, and after the 2014, we have military exercises with all the countries. And in 2024, there was question on the military exercise in the prelims examination, right? तो ये जो पढ़ रहे हो IRA prelims के हिसाब से भी थोड़ा ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. एरियाज कवर करेंगे अभी, राइट? रिसेंटली इंडिया एंड चाइना एग्रीड ऑन डिसएंगेजमेंट एट द डैम चौक एरिया, राइट? जब भी बात करूंगा इंडिया चाइना रिलेशन, देन वी विल फोकस ऑन द प्रीलिम्स एस्पेक्ट, दैट वो एरिया कौन सी जहां से क्वेश्चन हो सकता है इन द प्रीलिम्स 2025, तो उस पर भी थोड़ी सी बात कर लेंगे, तो प्रीलिम्स में भी हेल्प मिल जाएगी. क्लियर? सो वी आर शिफ्टिंग टुवर्ड्स strategic foreign policy during the Modi era. When you are answering of the, or when you are discussing about the foreign policy of the Modi or Modi ji, then there is a need to talk about strategic dimension of the India's foreign policy. And strategic dimension means engagement with the military. Note down, strategic means engagement with the military. Clear point? So first feature of Modi's foreign policy, neighborhood. First, second, strategic ties with the USA with economic, political, right? Second point. Second point of Modi's foreign policy feature. Balancing, balancing, balancing the Asia Pacific note down in bracket Indo-Pacific region. Note down in bracket Indo-Pacific region Indo-Pacific region. Close the bracket. And act east. And act east. Act east. 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 Through multipolarity. Multipolarity. So Indo-Pacific, underline Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific. And act east. Indo-Pacific means Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So before the Modi's era, the Indo-Pacific was known as Asia Pacific. And in Asia, there are two major powers, China and India. So America has a challenge or facing a challenge by the China at the global level because China's economy is emerging very fastly. So America is facing challenge by the China. And at the regional level, India is facing problem with the China. Why? The aggression, aggressive growth, economic growth of the China. China is using a lot of strategic policies against India. A string of clear. So India is facing problem. So India and USA both are facing the problem with the China. So they are very close. And India and the USA in its document declared or changed the name of the Asia Pacific as Indo-Pacific. It means in the Asia and in that particular area, India has emerging strategically importance role, right? So this is the importance of India, or this is the importance of the Modi ji, right one. So India, the USA changed the name of the particular region, Asia Pacific to Indo-Pacific. ये मीन्स में लिखना पड़ता है इस टाइप से, समझना है? This is the concept of the international relation. Why USA is using the Indo-Pacific, the term Indo-Pacific rather than Asia Pacific, because USA wants to give some significance to the India in this particular region, because USA को challenge किससे है? To the China. Because clear point, clear. And multipolarity in the act East or Southeast Asia, we are engaging by the strategically relations with the South Asian countries, right one. We have good relations with the Japan, we have good relations with the South Korea, we are trading related to the mobile technology, mobile manufacturing with the South Korea, right? So India is involving in this area with the other countries peacefully. So we are trying to isolate China in this particular region. So this is the India's approach. This is our approach. लेकिन अभी हम बात नहीं कर रहे the approach of the China. China is very large country, very strategically strong country, right one. वो string of pearls अभी बात करेंगे. This is the clear. This is the features of the Modis. Next one, next feature. Countering, 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 countering Chinese aggression in Indian Ocean region. Aggression in Indian Ocean region. Next feature, isolating which country? Pakistan. Isolating Pakistan. So India and Pakistan, relations of India and Pakistan is in current affairs or not? Why? नहीं पता. So what is the strategy to study international relation, or what should be the strategy to study international relation? If there is any event in current affairs, so on the basis of the particular event, we can right, we can understand that this is the topic to study. As for example, the summit of the SCO, and our external ministers participated in the particular summit. Or last 10 years, any leaders फ्रॉम इंडिया पार्टिसिपेटेड और वो पाकिस्तान गया. So this is the current affairs. On the basis of the particular point, India's Pakistan relation, India's relation with the Pakistan, अब वो current affairs है. लेकिन क्वेश्चन कहाँ से आएगा? स्टेटिक एरिया ऑफ इंडिया पाकिस्तान रिलेशन. तो ये थोड़ा सा पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी. प्रीलिम्स में कैसे पता करते हैं कि किस एरिया से क्वेश्चन आएगा? कैसे पता करते हो? ऐसे नहीं पढ़ते कि इंडिया एंड चाइना एग्रीड ऑन द डिस एंगेजमेंट ऑन द डैम चौक, बात खत्म. नो, व्हाट इज द जियोग्राफिकल लोकेशन ऑफ द डैम चौक? व्हाट इज द डैम चौक? वो पूछेगा डैम चौक इज लोकेटेड इन द साउथ ईस्ट ऑफ द पट्टी गालवान वैली. अभी क्या है ये? ज्योग्राफी का क्वेश्चन है, आईआर का है. बट वो क्वेश्चन किसका है? आईआर का है. उसने उसको किसके साथ मिक्स कर दिया? ज्योग्राफी के साथ. सो दिस इज आईआर एंड ज्योग्राफी. अभी एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में क्लियर ही नहीं हो पाता. आपने पढ़ा तो है बट क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू द आईआर और टू द ज्योग्राफी, वो क्लासिफाइड नहीं हो पा रहा. बट जब आप पढ़ रहे हो तो आपको कैसे करना पड़ेगा? आईआर को जियोग्राफी के साथ इंक्लूड करना पड़ेगा. राइट. लिम्पु अधूरा, काला पानी, लिपू लेक, these are the areas of the conflict between Indo and Nepal. So what is the location, geographically location of the particular areas? वो देखना पड़ेगा. This is the approach of question in the prelims examination. Means में simple पूछ लेगा areas of tension between Indo and Nepal and what are the measures to improve these relations. Simply, this is the approach of the mains examination. But approach of the prelims examination is different of IR. Or there are 15 questions, approximately 15 questions from the IR in the prelims examination. Or approximately 5 to 6 questions in the mains examination. So in prelims, IR has weightage of 50% of all questions. 100 question and 15 question, it means 50% weightage of IR. But this is based on the current affairs. And in the mains examination, this is also good weightage because 6 questions out of 20, not 100. 6 question out of 20. ये भी अच्छा खासा weightage, 25% weightage. तो IR को, so you cannot prepare IR on the basis of the newspaper. So newspaper, when a columnist writing a column or article, तो वो थोड़ी ना सोच रहा है कि यूपीएससी के लिए लिखना है हमें. वो ऐसे सोच रहा है जर्नल. So the news of newspaper is different. And preparation for the civil service examination of this particular subject is different. वो कौन बताएगा? और कोई नहीं बता पाएगा. कौन डिफरेंट कर पाएगा? Only not teacher, only Dr. Fayaz sir. Right. और कोई नहीं. It's not very easy. क्योंकि ऐसी बातें नहीं बोलना चाहिए टीवी पर. बट टीवी का मतलब यूट्यूब पर. ये टीवी है सामने. लेकिन ज्यादातर कैसे चल रहा है? यू आर नॉट गेटिंग हिंदी. इज वेरी टफ टास्क टू, है ना. और पूरा अंग्रेजी बोलने पे इन सबको नहीं समझ आता है. चलो, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मैं सच बता रहा हूँ. कोई बात नहीं, हिंदी में समझो. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि सच में नहीं पता पढ़ाने वाले को कि पढ़ाना क्या है. समझ आई बात? बहुत गहरी प्रॉब्लम है. एवरीवन इज ऑन यूट्यूब. कभी एग्जाम नहीं दिया, कभी पीटी नहीं निकाला. वो पीटी निकालेगा तब ना पता चलेगा दैट व्हाट इज द स्ट्रेटजी टू क्वालिफाई प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन और कितनी मेहनत लगती है. दिस इज नॉट वेरी इजी टू पास प्रीलिम्स क्वालिफाई एग्जामिनेशन. दिस इज नॉट वेरी इजी है. वो मेहनत लगी. और मेंस करना तो अपने आप में सर दर्द का काम है. दिस इज वेरी टफ टू आंसर 20 क्वेश्चन विद इन 3 आवर्स 180 मिनट्स. करना पड़ेगा. इसलिए आप लोगों का सिलेक्शन कैसे होगा? ओनली और ओनली दीक्षांत आईएएस. चलो, याद नहीं. यहाँ से क्यों रहे हो? भरोसा नहीं है? हाँ? थोड़ा थोड़ा खुद पे भी थोड़ा ही थोड़ा होगा आपको. अपने आप पे भी कैसा भरोसा होगा? अच्छा, कभी कभी ऐसे लगता है कि पता नहीं क्या होगा. लगता होगा ना. when you are preparing that you are very doubtful that क्या होगा, what should be happen in life, right? हम कर रहे हैं तो होगा भी कि नहीं. ये आपके साथ नहीं. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम टू एवरीवन. ईच एंड एवरी. जो टॉपर है वो भी नहीं. रिजल्ट आना है, वो बेचारा डरा हुआ है. वो क्या होगा, लिस्ट में नाम होगा भी कि नहीं. सोचो, जिसकी रैंक 1 है उसे पता है कि मे बी कल रिजल्ट आ सकता है. ऐसे यूपीएससी बोलती है कि विद इन 2 days 5 days वी विल रिलीज द रिजल्ट. तो वो कह रहे कि मेरा लिस्ट में नाम होगा भी और नहीं. और उसने देखा कि यार मैंने ऑल इंडिया टॉप कर दिया. फिर उसने कहा कि यार मैंने ऐसे पढ़ाई की थी. ओके ओके. बट वो पहले डरा हुआ है. लिस्ट में नाम होगा भी कि नहीं, उसे नहीं पता ना दैट वो क्वालिफाई करने जा रहा है, किसी को नहीं पता, तो सब वैसे ही है। इसलिए क्या करो, अच्छा जिसका पीटी होता है उसे भी नहीं पता कि आई एम गोइंग टू क्वालिफाई द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन इन 2018, आई क्वालिफाइड प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन। तो मुझे भी लगा था कि पीटी हो गया, अरे भाई ये ठीक है, प्रीलिम्स हो गया, अच्छी बात है, तो नेक्स्ट मेंस एग्जाम, प्रिपेयर फॉर द मेंस एग्जामिनेशन। मतलब प्रिपरेशन कभी नहीं लगता कि दिस इज द लास्ट, दिस इज आप इसके बाद नहीं प्रिपेयर हो सकता है, क्योंकि आपको नहीं पता ना व्हाट इज हैपनिंग। So this is your destiny or this is your luck that when you are solving the paper, only you have only, I think, 20, 30 questions. You have 100% answer of only 30 questions out of 100. And after this, you have to just eliminate the questions. And you are just making tukka. कि चलो अब देखते हैं इसका क्या होगा, उसमें से कुछ सही हुआ तो यू आर जस्ट क्वालिफाइंग एग्जामिनेशन। तो वो चलता है, लाइफ है ये, यूपीएससी ऐसे ही है। तो क्या करो, पढ़ते रहो, क्या करते रहो, चलने दो, कोई नहीं। क्या लिखा बताओ, आइसोलेटिंग, हाँ, नेक्स्ट फीचर ऑफ द मोदीज फॉरेन पॉलिसी, नेक्स्ट, इनवाइटिंग इंडियन डायस्पोरा, इनवाइटिंग इंडियन डायस्पोरा, इनवाइटिंग इंडियन डायस्पोरा, DIASPOR, इंडियन डायस्पोरा, फ्रॉम वर्ल्ड, फ्रॉम वर्ल्ड, ओवर टू, OVER, ओवर टू invest, over to invest in India and ease of business, and invest in India and ease of business or doing business, ease of doing business. So these are the features of the Modi's foreign policy. Clear point? है ना? So these are the stages of India's foreign policy. And last point is continuity and changes in India's foreign policy. What are the changes in India's foreign policy and what is the continuity in India's foreign policy? Continuity. So some features are common in the foreign policy of Pandit Nehru, in the foreign policy of Indira Gandhi, in the foreign policy of Rajiv Gandhi, in the foreign policy of PV Narasimha Rao, in the foreign policy of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, in the foreign policy of Manmohan Singh, in the foreign policy of. So what are these similar points? What are? You have any idea? What are the continuity in the India's foreign policy since 1947 till now? Non-alignment movement, ठीक है, and peaceful coexistence, tolerance, and anti-colonialism, anti-imperialism, anti-apartheid, anti-neo-colonialism, anti-neo-imperialism, right? Anti-neo-colonialism, right? And what are the continuities? Believe in international organization, believe in resolution the conflict through the peaceful means, right? Global development, है ना? And fulfill the interest of the third world countries and the developing countries. These are the continuity features in the India's foreign policy since 1947 to till now. Clear point? Yeah. Each and every prime minister इसमें बात कर रहा है. So these are the continuity in India's foreign policy. Note down continuity in the continuity point. लिख लो. Some features are common. Some features are common in the foreign policy of Pandit Nehru, and foreign policy of Modi ji. अभी ऐसे कहीं मत बोल देना बाहर कि there are some common features in the foreign policy of Nehru ji and foreign policy of Modi ji. तो मोदी जी के सपोर्टर्स आपको फिर कहेंगे this is wrong. मोदी जी चेंज कर दिए हैं the foreign policy of India absolutely. There is no feature of Pandit Nehru in the foreign policy of Narendra Modi. अगर आप ऐसा बोल देंगे कि we have continuity in the foreign, वो कहेंगे you are pro Congressy and pro Pakistani. So this is ऐसे नहीं. But this is true. But this is true because Modi ji always following these principles, right? First point. Peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence. Second point. Tolerance. Tolerance. Third one. Believe in global peace and security. Peace and security. Anti-colonialism, anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, anti-imperialism, anti-apartheid policy, anti-apartheid, anti-neo-colonialism and imperialism, anti-neo-colonial, NEO, neo, not NEW, NEO, neo, right? Neo-colonialism and neo-imperialism. Next point, not anti-capitalism. Anti-terrorism, okay. Next one, anti-terrorism. Next, continuity, anti-terrorism. Support the interests of, next, to support the interest of third world countries. Colonialism is related to making such colony, and imperialism means the colonies all over the world, right? This is right. And neo means politically they are not responsible, but they are exploiting the particular colony, right? They say globalization is an example of neo-colonial and neo-imperialism, right? Before the independence, India was a colony of Britain, and there was a imperialism of Britain at the global level. India was a colony of Britain. So British government and Britishers, they were exploiting India. But after the independence or at the present time, this is the era of the globalization, right? So the multinational companies of the developed countries, they are exploiting the resources of the developing countries. This is a neo-colonialism, right? One. For example, we all have accounts on Facebook, है ना? आप लोगों का नहीं है Facebook? Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a feature of Meta. Meta is a company of Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is a citizen of USA. So if you are chatting on WhatsApp, it means you are paying something to the Mark Zuckerberg. When you are installing the WhatsApp and you are saying that I'm agree with all the terms and condition, it means you are giving permission to the WhatsApp to search everything in your mobile. And you are allowing WhatsApp to store your one-to-one encrypted video calls also. And he can use your video calls against you at any time because WhatsApp has the particular data, and he can sell your data to the companies, to the governments, that क्योंकि हमें ऐसा लगता है that we deleted the chat from the WhatsApp, so it is deleted from, no, this is not deleted, वो वहां पर है, cloud computing, everything। पुलिस कैसे निकाल लेता है, आपने सभी कॉल लॉग्स को डिलीट कर दिया, बट पुलिस all the call logs, all the chats, and all the video calls are recorded on the right. So this is not very, ऐसे मतलब घबरा नहीं जाना है, ठीक है। मतलब ठीक है, end to end encrypted, but मार्क जुकरबर्ग देख सकता है what is happening, data, what is the resource of the future, what is the resource of the future, not digital data, data is the resource of the future, right? Mineral water is not a resource of the, we are not fighting at the present time for the oil or for the gas or for the water, we are fighting at the present time for the data, right? We have account on the Facebook, it means Facebook has our data, and Facebook is now that what is your political orientation, because you are just आप like कर रहे हैं ना बीजेपी, भारतीय जनता पार्टी, it means your political orientation is towards BJP. So the Facebook is selling your data that you have political orientation to the BJP, and Facebook is selling your phone number to the BJP, and then BJP is calling to you that चुनाव है वोट डालो please, the data. This is the business of the, this is the new type of exploitation by the globalization, right? You are going to the McDonald's and you are purchasing something and you are just status लगा रहे on the WhatsApp, it means you are paying something to the KFC, you are paying something to the Levi's shop, you are paying something। आप सोचो कि हम स्टेटस लगा रहे हैं ऑफ द मैकडोनाल्ड, व्हाई यू आर नॉट स्टेटिंग दैट दाल खा रहे हैं रोटी, आप स्टेटस वो क्यों नहीं लगाते, बिकॉज उन्होंने कहा कि बर्गर खाना इज एज अ, दिस इज द एक्टिविटी ऑफ द अपर क्लास, रोटी दाल चावल तो रोज खाते हैं, उन्होंने उसको कैसे जोड़ दिया द सिविलाइज्ड कल्चर। आप सोचो आपसे कोई कहे मैं बर्गर नहीं खाता, बर्गर के साथ कोक, फ्रेंच फ्राइज, द वेस्टर्न, राइट? आप देखो सीपी पे कभी जाओ, a lot of person, they are sitting cafe and they are just doing something on the laptop, क्या कर रहे हैं वो, आई डोंट नो, कितने बिजी हैं वो, एंड वो कोल्ड ड्रिंक कोक एंड बर्गर एंड द कल्चर ऑफ, वो बहुत बिजी लोग हैं वो लोग, और वहाँ न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज हैं, ज्वाइंट फैमिलीज नहीं है, हमारे यहाँ घर से निकलते मम्मी टिफिन देती है लेके जाओ, वहाँ ऐसा नहीं है ना, टिफिन पकड़ा देंगे खाओ जाके, वहाँ ऐसा नहीं है, दिस कल्चर इज डिफरेंट, बट दे आर रीडिंग द कल्चर ऑफ द यूएसए, तो दे आर एक्सप्लॉइटिंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कल्चर, राइट? हमने जो पहना हुआ है सब क्या है, द वेस्टर्न, दिस इज रिलेटेड टू द वेस्टर्न, दिस इज द ग्लोबलाइजेशन, दिस इज द नियो colonialism and neo, but they are politically not responsible. When we were colony of the Britain, then politically Britain was responsible for the exploitation of, if there was any doubt, anything, any disaster in India, then Britain was politically responsible, that why this is happening in India. But if there is any uh, issue related to the poverty, any issue related to the health, then Britain, America, and MNCs are not responsible, right? They have data in the, not in the, Indian government is going to pass an act or bill related to the data localization. You have to need some data stored in India. जब आप यहाँ से छोड़ के भागो तो कुछ डेटा तो हमें मिले, तो दे आर नॉट एग्री ऑन द पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन, हम डेटा लोकलाइजेशन नहीं करेंगे, वो कहाँ कर रहे हैं पूरा डेटा सेव, दिस इज द टाइम, दिस इज द टाइम ऑफ द आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, द टाइम ऑफ इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स, दिस इज द टाइम ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन 4.0, अलग ही दुनिया है, ये आप लोग पता नहीं क्या, यहाँ से निकलो बाहर, आर्टिफिशियल यूज करो किसको, एआई, आर्टिफिशियल, उससे पूछोगे हाउ टू क्वालिफाई प्रीलिम्स वो फिर लड़की बोलती है उस पे, दे आर वेरी एक्सपर्ट, दे आर गिविंग आंसर बाई लड़की, लड़का क्यों नहीं है एआई पे, व्हाई नॉट द वॉइस ऑफ, उन्हें पता है दैट इंडियंस आर टू मच फुलिश, उसी पे टाइम पास कर रहे हैं, मेरा नाम क्या है बताओ, दे आर जस्ट पासिंग टाइम, हाँ सच में, एआई ऑन द एआई, मेरा नाम क्या है बताओ, टेल मी व्हाट इज माय नेम, मेरा फ्यूचर क्या है, व्हाट इज माय फ्यूचर, सो शी इज सेइंग दैट on the basis of data I can say that this is your future. मेरी शादी कब तक होगी? They are questioning to the AI. मेरा एक रिलेटिव है, he came to me and said देखो देखो this is the different thing. मैंने अरे बेवकूफ, मैंने उससे देन उन्होंने मुझे बहुत क्वेश्चंस पूछे, उसने आंसर किए. मैंने एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन, मैंने कहा since the Plato and Socrates till the Robert Nozick and John Rawls, they gave the concept of theory of justice. Do you have any new theory of justice? Said sorry, there is no sufficient data. हाँ कौन चाहिए? हम. Because a man can create a new theory of justice. Because AI cannot think that what is the justice. AI is answering on the basis of the data. So data is sufficient, then he or he is answering, then data is insufficient, then so this is new method of exploitation. This is the globalization, right? And who have authority or power in the field of the AI? We are thinking that India will make its own. This is the challenge to the third world countries. We are using the AI of USA. So we are paying something to the exploitation of third world countries by the developed countries, the new colonial. Getting my? तो नहीं बच सकते आप एक्सप्लॉइटेशन. गरीब गरीब और अमीर अमीर रहेगा. आप कैसे अमीर बन सकते हो? If you have फिलहाल killer point. So these are the continuity. Next changes. Next point, changes in the India's foreign policy. What are the changes? Pragmatic foreign policy. Pragmatic foreign policy. First change, pragmatic foreign policy. Pragmatic foreign. Next, isolating Pakistan. Think. Next, focusing on strategic dimension. Focusing on strategic dimension. Strategic dimension. Strategic means, right? Clear? These are the changes. But changes बहुत नहीं है. यार, we have foreign policy जहाँ पर similarities ठीक ठाक बनी हुई. This is the foreign policy of India. अच्छा. Next question, that what is the nature of the question, the means examination, right? So examiner आपसे कह सकता है कि discuss the continuity and changes in the India's, note down question for the answer writing. Discuss the continuity and changes in India's foreign policy. Clear? लोगे आंसर? कर लोगे? 250 words. How many words? 250. 50 mark का question. 15, not 50. 15, 15. अच्छा. So there are 4 core themes in our syllabus of IR. What are the 4 core themes in our syllabus? First is India and its neighborhood relations, and second bilateral, regional and global grouping, right? And third is politics and policies of developed and developing countries and their impacts on India's interest and Indian diaspora. And fourth one, important international institutions and agencies, their mandate and structure. Right. So we are discussing the first core theme of our syllabus: India and its bilateral relations with the neighbors countries. And first point in this core theme and first sub theme was India's foreign policy. So the sub theme India's foreign policy we will discuss, or we were discussing this sub theme on the basis of certain points. What is foreign policy, right? What are the objectives of the foreign policy? Then what are the determinants of India's foreign policy? Then what are the stages of foreign policy, and what are the continuities and changes in the India's foreign policy? Clear point? थोड़ा सा स्ट्रक्चर्ड बेस में पढ़ना पड़ेगा, आपको याद होना चाहिए, करोगे तो 5 year प्लान एंड 10 year पढ़ते रहो. Getting? Next sub theme is very good, Panchsheel. Note down Panchsheel. Panchsheel. Doctrine of, first point, what is doctrine of Panchsheel? Then principles of Panchsheel. Limitations, the doctrine of Panchsheel. Then way forward or relevancy of Panchsheel. For example, there is a question in examination that discuss the principles of India's foreign. You are able to answer this question. You can note down the question, last point. Question for the means practice. Discuss the principles of India's foreign policy. Discuss the principles of India's foreign. What are the principles? हाँ, है ना, बात हुई थी कल, मैंने बताया था, वही लिखना है. अच्छा, there is a trend of UPSC is asking questions in main examination on the basis of 2 dimensions. First, static. Discuss the principles of the India's foreign policy. Simple question. Discuss the continuity and changes in India's current affairs. Question on the basis of current recently engagement of India and China. Then static. So अगर आप static area को समझोगे, then you are able to understand the current affairs. First of all, we will work on the static portion of the international. International relation is not associated only to the current affairs, but this is very static subject. Because मैं तो इसको पढ़ रहा हूँ 2011. This is static only. This is not very current affair. है ना? Kala Pani is a point of dispute between India and Nepal, not recently 2 and 3 years after the of Indo-Nepal relation. तो वो static है. एक बार पढ़ लोगे, then फिर उस पर ही कुछ events होते रहेंगे. Have to just revise the particular topic. ये बेकार का आइडिया है, ये बेकार का डिस्कशन है that IR is related or associated to the current affairs. कुछ चेंज नहीं होता. इंडो नेपाल रिलेशंस चेंज, एनी एग्रीमेंट बिटवीन इंडिया एंड नेपाल, बस, और बाकी रिलेशंस एक जैसे ही है ना, सिंपल है. तो अच्छा, पंचशील This is a word of Pali language or a word of Buddhist philosophy. Panch, Panch plus Panch means five. Sheel means conduct. Sheel means conduct. Conduct means act, behavior. So this is the term of Buddhist philosophy, and this is the term of the Pali language. Panchsheel, five conduct. It means five conduct. Clear? Note down in this point what is doctrine of Panchsheel. Note down in this point. Panchsheel is a term of Buddhist philosophy. It means five conduct. Next point, the Panchsheel agreement. Next point, the Panchsheel agreement, also known as the Panchsheel agreement, also known as the five principles of of peaceful coexistence. So Panchsheel is a term of the Pali language, and in English translation, it is known as peaceful coexistence. Clear? Peaceful coexistence. Next point. It is a set of principles राम मणि गुप्ता, क्या शानदार नाम है, राम मणि गुप्ता, कह रहे हैं गुड इवनिंग। अच्छा, मैं मॉर्निंग में क्लास पढ़ाता हूँ। द टाइमिंग ऑफ क्लास इज 10 to 12, राइट, हिंदी मीडियम का। तो 11 बजे एक लोग आए, बोले गुड मॉर्निंग, और बोले सर समझ नहीं प्रॉपरली योर क्लास, योर टीचिंग मेथड इज वेरी गुड बट आई एम नॉट गेटिंग प्रॉपरली। मैंने कहा क्या करना चाहिए? बच्चों ने कहा भगाओ सर इन्हें क्लास, गेट आउट करो इसको। मैंने कहा ब्लॉक करो इस पर्सन, ब्लॉक करवा दिया। वो पेड बैच के स्टूडेंट है, और बाद में फोन किया सर से बात करो आप, सर गलती हो गई, अब टाइम पे आऊँगा। फिर से अब एक तो लेट आ रहा है, ऊपर से क्या बोल रहा है कि आई एम नॉट गेटिंग प्रॉपरली, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है आप क्या समझा रहे हैं। आप पढ़ाते बहुत अच्छा बट समझ नहीं आ रहा। समझ कैसे आएगा? 1 घंटे का तो कंटेंट निकल गया ना। खिलाड़ी है, बनना क्या है? क्या बनना है? आईएएस। अरे आईएएस कैसा आईएएस बनेगा? अगर बन भी गया तो ऑफिस 1 घंटे लेट पहुंचेगा। ऑफिसर्स कभी लेट नहीं होते क्या सर? आप सोचो, थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगा, कुंभ में जिस आईएएस की ड्यूटी लगी हो, वो लगता है वो सो पा रहा होगा? आप लोगों को क्या चाहिए? 2 घंटे पढ़ोगे, फिर ऐसे निकलोगे लाइब्रेरी से, लगेगा कि बस पूरी दुनिया में मैंने ही सबसे ज्यादा पढ़ाई करी। ऐसे लगता है कि ये मैं ही हीरो। इतना स्ट्रगल यहाँ नहीं है, ज्यादा कहाँ है? आफ्टर द लॉट ऑफ वर्क आफ्टर द फ्रेंड, he completed PhD अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम public administration. Now he is assistant professor of public administration Lavasana. He is teaching the aspirants, elected candidates, public administration. Recently, I talked to a particular person. I am working. What are you saying? You are working Lavasana, and what is your job? And I said, my God, ये भी वही नौकरी दिला दो, लवासना इज माय ड्रीम। उसने कहा ठीक है, यू आर वेलकम, आप घूमने आ सकते हो। दैट देयर इज अ नीड ऑफ असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर ऑफ द मणिपुरी लैंग्वेज, if you have any friend of the Manipuri expert of the Manipuri language, so they want a very good professor, guest faculty in the Lavasana. This is good. I said, what is happening? They are not very interested to learn something. मैं जा रहा हूँ क्लास में, आई एम सेइंग समथिंग, बात नहीं हो, क्योंकि वो सिलेक्टेड हैं, उन्हें मजा करना है, उन्होंने पढ़ लिया है। तो लवासना इज नॉट जस्ट अ ट्रेनिंग हाउस, इट इज अ हाउस। After the selection, they are focusing on marriage, at who is good for me। और लड़कियां भी they are also focusing, because पढ़ाई में वो इतनी बिजी हैं बेचारे, यहाँ तो कर नहीं पाए वो। तो they are focusing that मैं IAS या IPS, that is good। तुरंत क्या करो, वो बोला है कि लवासना इज नॉट अ ट्रेनिंग a place, this is like a marriage house। they are not focusing on teaching, they are focusing just to search a good person as a life partner। the problem of the lavasana, चलो क्लियर। क्या लिखा, दिस इज, it is a set of principles that govern inter-state relations। हाँ, that govern inter-state international। Next point, it was first inter-state relation, interstate, it was first implemented on April 29, 1954। April 29, 1954, comma, in the agreement on trade and the agreement on trade and intercourse between trade and inter China's Tibet, IBE province and India, PET province and India, the province and China's China's Tibet province and India। Tibet is a province of China, clear? This is agreement. So Panchsheel is not agreement between China and India, this is an agreement between China's Tibet province and, getting? So why this term Panchsheel accepted by the both countries or related to the Buddha religion? Because Buddha is a religion of India as well as China। Buddhism emerged in India, born in India, but in China। So दोनों ने इसको accept कर लिया। Clear? Next point, the document the document the document was signed by Chang, CHNG, Chang, HANG, Chang, Han, HAN, Chang Han Fu, FU, put down in bracket, China's deputy foreign minister, and N and N Raghavan, N Raghavan, 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 India's, note down in bracket, India's ambassador, India's ambassador, India's ambassador to the China। So Prime Minister or President of China did not sign on this particular document. The Deputy Foreign Minister of China and India's ambassador signed on the particular document। ये questions कहाँ बनते हैं? In the prelims exam। Panchsheel was in current affairs because recently the President of China, Xi Jinping, declared that Panchsheel has significance to improve the relations between India and China। तो examiner ये नहीं बनाएगा that who said that Panchsheel has a significance, वो कहेगा कि Panchsheel document में signature किसने किया था, है ना? This is a very tough task to understand that who signed। So Deputy Foreign Minister of China, what is the name? Zhang Han Fu and N. Raghavan. Clear point? Next one. Next. Panchsheel was a joint statement. Panchsheel was a joint statement issued by 𝐃𝐢 Analyze ZHOU 𝐃𝐢 ZHOU 𝐃𝐢 EN अलग से लिखना है ENLAI 𝐃𝐢 Analyze and पंडित क्लियर पॉइंट। तो किसने इसको इशू किया? द चाइनीज प्रेसिडेंट एंड इंडियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर। व्हाट साइन किसने किया? क्लियर पॉइंट। ये थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। So what is the Panchsheel? Panchsheel is a principle or as a set of the 5 principle जिससे क्या गवर्न हो रहा है? The relations between India and China. Clear? Panchsheel 5 conduct, right? Then what are these 5 principles? Note down 5 principles. 5 principles. चंदन मल्होत्रा का कहना है कि गुड इवनिंग सर, सर आप प्रेजेंट मित्रावर भी पढ़ाते हैं, आप यहाँ भी पढ़ाते हैं, मैं जहाँ चाहूँ वहाँ पढ़ाऊंगा। अभी मैं जहाँ चाहूँ वहाँ पढ़ाऊंगा। दिस इज माई फ्रीडम अंडर द आर्टिकल 21 ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, राइट टू लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लिबर्टी। मैं हिंदी में भी पढ़ा सकता हूँ, इंग्लिश में, तमिल, कन्नड़, मैं किसी मलयालम, तेलुगु, किसी भी लैंग्वेज में पढ़ा सकता हूँ। देखो कोई बात नहीं, चंदन मल्होत्रा ठीक है, अच्छी बात है। परवेज, लोग मुझे फॉलो कर रहे हैं, अच्छी बात है, ठीक है। तो 5 प्रिंसिपल, फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल नोट डाउन, फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट। फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल इज म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट for sovereignty and territorial integrity. Mutual respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity. Second point, mutual non-aggression. Mutual non. Third one, mutual non-interference. Mutual non-interference in internal matters. In internal matters. Fourth one, equality and mutual benefit. Equality and mutual benefits. Last is peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence. So these are the 5 principles. Clear one? So first is sovereignty and integrity. Second is non-aggression. Third is non-interference. Fourth is mutual respect. Fifth is, याद कैसे रखोगे? First is sovereignty and integrity. Mutual respect for sovereignty. There's no need to remember the all line. Sovereignty and integrity. Mutual respect for sovereignty and integrity. Sovereignty, keep in mind, sovereignty and integrity. Second point, non-aggression. Mutual non-aggression. Third is non-interference in the internal matters of each other. Then mutual benefits, and last is peaceful. This is very tough task to remember these things. Prelims में ही पूछ लेगा, है ना, कहाँ भी पूछ सकता है प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन. तो देयर इज नो डिफरेंस कि ये प्रीलिम्स में नहीं आएगा, केवल मेंस में आएगा. बेकार की स्टडी होती है कि दीज आर द एरिया ऑफ द मेंस एग्जामिनेशन, यहाँ से एग्जामिनर नहीं पूछा. एग्जामिनर की बात है, कुछ भी बना सकता है. तो प्रिपेयर रहिए 100%. समझ रहे हो आप? वो क्या क्या लोग बोल रहे हैं, सर जी आपको देखने आए थे. ठीक है, अच्छी बात है. चलो, सो व्हाट आर द लिमिटेशंस ऑफ पंचशील डॉक्ट्राइन? नोट डाउन लिमिटेशंस. Next, limitations to the Panchsheel doctrine. First limitations, first challenge to the Panchsheel doctrine. Note down five. The Panchsheel agreement, the Panchsheel agreement began to unravel, 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 when unravel, when REL, unravel, when Dalai Lama, DALAI, Dalai LAMA, Dalai Lama, and his followers were granted humanitarian, and his followers granted were granted humanitarian asylum, means shelter, ASYLUM, शरण देना, शरणार्थी, asylum in India. Clear? Continue in this point. China claimed that China claimed that this is the violation of one of the principle of Panchsheel, one of the principles of Panchsheel, that is mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs. Mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs. In each other's internal affairs. So try to understand this history. India got independence in 1947. China got independence in 1948. Or independence means communist revolution in China. Mao made a revolution in China. This is communist revolution. So India at this time, this was the period of the Cold War. At this time, India was tilted towards USSR, and India's approach was tilted towards socialism. And China was also a country related to the socialism. So India was the first country at the globe who recognized China as a communist nation. And India recognized that China is a nation. So India, because what was the foreign policy of India at this time? Focusing on neighbors and neighborhood first policy. This was the policy of the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So in 1948, India was the first country who recognized China as a communist nation, and India started good relations with the China. Right? So to maintain good relations, in 1954, both countries signed Panchsheel agreement, and declared 5 principles. On the basis of these principles, we will maintain our relations. What? After this, China attacked on Tibet. Clear? This is the map. This is Tibet, and this is China. Before the 1957 or 58, Tibet was independent area. Right? And so Tibet was independent area. So China was not very neighbor country to us, because there is Nepal, Bhutan, and then Tibet, and then China. So direct boundary nahi thi of the China with the India. But in 1958, China occupied the territory of Tibet and declared Tibet as a province of the China. So India or New Delhi declared that this is not a good approach of the China, because this is an aggressive foreign policy of the China. So China declared a policy, palm and 5-finger policy, and Tibet as palm of the China and 5 fingers is Jammu Kashmir, not Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, Nepal, Bhutan, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. These are 5 fingers of China, and Tibet is. So he said, Chinese leaders declared that be occupied palm, and there is a need to occupy 5 fingers. So this is the policy of the China. India said that हमने recognize किया आपको और हमने हाथ बढ़ाया दोस्ती का, आपने क्या किया? सही, जो सभी करते हैं, धोखा. So India provided shelter to the Dalai Lama, leader of Tibet. So China said that this is violation of the Panchsheel agreement, that non-interference in the internal matters of each other. India said that you already made interference in the internal matter in the particular region. So in 1959, we provided shelter to the Dalai Lama, and in 1962, Indo-China war. This is the history of the India-China relation. ये मर्ज ऐसे हो रहा है, हिंदी चीनी भाई भाई, brotherhood. This was the slogan of the Pandit Nehru, Hindi Chini bhai bhai. But the China broke in. So what was the problem? There is a mistake from the Indian side or from the Chinese side. कुछ clarity नहीं होती है. This is not very clear. पहली mistake किसने की? This was the foreign policy of the China to occupy Tibet and these 5 areas. What India said, that if you are occupying the Tibet, it means you are focusing on the regions of India. For example, Jammu Kashmir, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. So you are also violating the principles of Panchsheel. One of the principle of Panchsheel. Why you are declaring that Jammu Kashmir, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, these are the parts of the Chinese territory? तो फिर ये लड़ाई जो है बनी हुई है remaining. अभी current affairs क्या है? Damchok area. This particular area, this area, Arunachal Pradesh, this area, the area of the conflict between India and China. So we will discuss these issues when we will discuss Indo-China relations. Getting? हम उस पे बात कर लें. This is the challenge to the Indo-China relations. Clear? Next point. Next challenge. Recent conflict between India and China. Recent conflict between India and China. For example, अच्छा ये पीछे जो होता है वो है ना, इधर कुछ है ग्राउंड, उसमें पहले भी होता था ना, पहले वो भूत वाली आवाज आती थी जब मैं पिछली बार पढ़ा रहा था, वो बीराना मूवी का वो गाना था. दिस वाज द सॉन्ग ऑफ द मूवी ऑफ द बीराना, सॉन्ग ऑफ द बीराना. डू यू नो अबाउट द बीराना मूवी? बीराना मूवी ऑफ द हॉलीवुड, देखना बीराना. हाँ नहीं देखी? देखिए नहीं देखी हो, देखना आज जाके बीराना. ऐसे थोड़ा सा यूट्यूब पे आ जाएगी. अकेले मत देखना, डरोगी रात में फिर. मैं छोटा था, घर वालों ने दिखा दी, मैंने भी देख ली. पहले उसका गाना चलाते थे, वो बीराना का, है ना. अभी वही है ये सब. कोई नहीं, चलो क्या लिखा. हाँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल डोकलाम वैली कन्फ्लिक्ट. डोकलाम, DOKHLAM, डोकलाम वैली कन्फ्लिक्ट 2017. हाँ, वैली conflict 2017. And and conflict in Ladakh region in 2020. Ladakh region in 2020. Clear? So these are the limitations for the Panchsheel agreement. Getting? Next point. Way forward. Way forward. Way forward. First point. The Panchsheel agreement is the Panchsheel agreement is is proactive step, proactive step towards towards bettering, better करना, bettering, BETTERING, bettering India China economic and political relations, bettering India China economic and political relations. Recently, next point, recently Chinese president, recently Chinese president declared that, right, Panchsheel doctrine played crucial role, crucial role to improve Indo-China relations. Indo-China, to improve Indo-China relations. Yeah. So there may be simple question that what do you understand by the Panchsheel doctrine, doctrine of the Panchsheel? Discuss the features of the Panchsheel doctrine. बिल्कुल सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन होगा, तो ये आपको थोड़ा सा दिमाग में रखना पड़ेगा. नेक्स्ट सब थीम इज गुजराल डॉक्ट्राइन. नोट डाउन. What is Gujral doctrine? Features of Gujral doctrine. Next one. Significance of Gujral doctrine. Right? Note down in the first point that what is Gujral doctrine. These are the short notes. These are the short notes which were prepared by me for this examination. है ना? मैंने खुद अपने लिए बनाए थे कभी जब मैं पढ़ रहा था. When I was preparing for this examination, so I prepared these notes for my examination. ये हेल्प भी बहुत हुआ. बट अब क्या है, उसमें अपडेट है. There is any update, so उसी में कुछ कुछ पॉइंट्स. अभी ऐसा नहीं है कि उसके लिए है अभी इतनी बार पढ़ा लिया कि वो थोड़ा सा याद हो गया है. आपको भी याद हो सकता है. उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? नंबर ऑफ रिवीजन. अगर इसका नंबर ऑफ रिवीजन करोगे तो कंटेंट आपके दिमाग में भी आ जाएगा. राइट? तो आप क्या करो कि मोर टाइम किसके लिए रखो? रिवीजन के लिए. If you are not revising your content, your books, your notebooks, your notes, then you are not preparing in the right way for this examination. Right? For example, you are studying 8 hours for this examination. 4 hours should go to the revision, not for the just ulta pulting the book कि बस किताब ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे हैं. This is not the revision, and the method of revision is also different. For example, after coming class, you are coming for the class for the international relations. उसके पहले सोचो कि revision का method क्या है. Just thinking that what मैंने क्या पढ़ाया. वो कॉपी से रिवाइज नहीं करते. एक खाली पेज उस पर लिखने की कोशिश करो. What are the themes of our syllabus? What are the sub themes of our syllabus? प्रैक्टिस करो लिखने की, तो लिखने वाली जो प्रॉब्लम है वो भी सॉल्व हो जाएगी. ऑफ आंसर राइटिंग, सर में आंसर राइटिंग बहुत वो भी सॉल्व हो जाएगी. तो व्हेन यू आर रिवाइजिंग, to revise your content with the answer writing. See my point? This is the Panchsheel, and Panchsheel means what is the Panchsheel? What are the principles? What are the limitations? And way forward. फिर सोचो that what is the Panchsheel. There's no need to revise just book किताब कॉपी उठा के उसको ऐसे ऐसे पढ़ना. This is not revision. You are just reading. There's a difference between reading and revising. Revising means आपके दिमाग में क्या है? What is in your mind after class? तो वो थोड़ा सा बैठ के. So this is a thinking, right? So what is the approach? Reading one time, writing two times, and thinking 6 times. आपने रीड किया कंटेंट पंचशील वन टाइम, आप उसको लिख के कितनी बार लिख सकते हैं? 2 टाइम्स. बट थिंकिंग मल्टीपल टाइम. अच्छा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, you have the content of Panchsheel in your mind and you are going to your home for particular work, और आपके पास बुक भी नहीं है, then you are revising that what is the Panchsheel. अच्छा ठीक है. This is the approach. Every time, right one. अकेले घूम रहे हो तो रिवाइज योर कंटेंट. कोशिश करो रिवाइज करने. बिना देखे रिवीजन होता है. कैसे? नो नीड टू सी द बुक दैट व्हाट इज द कंटेंट. जब बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहा देन फिर देखो, तब वो एकदम से दिमाग में रह जाएगा. तो ये थोड़ा सा मेथड चेंज करो ऑफ योर. What is the smart study of UPSC? This is the smart study for the UPSC. Revision. Revision means just not you are just we are just underlining the content. लाल, नीला, हरा, पीला, गुलाबी, पेन सब खत्म हो गया, बट दिमाग में कुछ भी नहीं है. वो कैसे आएगा? Close the book and just start thinking that what is the Panchsheel, what is the Gujral doctrine, what is the non-alignment movement, what is the foreign policy. Foreign policy means what is the foreign policy, what is the objective of the foreign policy, है ना? And what are the determinants of foreign policy, what are the strategies foreign policy, and then what continuity. And this is the revision. And what is the foreign policy? Foreign policy is a tool or instrument or a method to maintain the relations with the other country. Simple, baat khatam. Then what are the objective? National interest. You are making short notes in your mind. This is the smart study. इस टाइप से रिवीजन होगा. ऐसे क्या करोगे? ये रिवीजन की स्टाइल बनाओ, आदत बनाओ. राइट? सो आई एम नॉट हियर टू जस्ट आईआर पढ़ाना है. मैं कुछ कुछ ऐसे बताता रहूंगा. समथिंग मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट फॉर योर. Note down what is Gujral doctrine. The Gujral doctrine is a foreign policy framework गुड इवनिंग जी सर. गुड इवनिंग. ठीक है, गुड इवनिंग बेटा. कब से स्टार्ट किए सर? क्या स्टार्ट किया मैंने? गुड इवनिंग सर. सर सर ठीक है, ठीक. परेशान हो गए लोग. ठीक है, गुड इवनिंग बेटा. गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू. सो यू कैन कनेक्ट विद द दीक्षांत आईएएस टीम, राइट? ठीक है. गुजराल डॉक्ट्राइन is a foreign policy framework articulated 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 by 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 former Indian Prime Minister, by former Indian Prime Minister Indra Kumar Gujral. In the 1990s. Right. Next point. It was Gujral doctrine. It was centered centered around. It was centered around India's approach, around India's approach, India's approach to its immediate neighbors, immediate, comma, emphasizing, emphasizing cooperation, emphasizing cooperation, emphasizing cooperation and regional stability. Stability through a peaceful strategy. Peaceful strategy. Right? Next point. This policy, this policy, or this doctrine, not policy, this doctrine marked a departure. This doctrine marked a departure. Marked, M-A-R-K-D, departure, train departure from, right? Marked departure. Marked departure from India's, yeah, traditionally, assertive, A-S-S-E-R-T-I-V, assertive foreign policy. Traditionally assertive, A-S-S-E-R-T-I-V, assertive foreign policy. A. Assertive foreign policy stands in South Asia. South towards Southeast Asia. Okay. So during why this doctrine, we are focusing on the South Asia as well as Southeast Asia. Clear? Clear point? South Asia means India and its immediate neighbors. Immediate neighbors means Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Maldives or China. Southeast Asia means this is the South Asia. Southeast Asia means Cambodia, Taiwan, Thailand, and Indonesia, Myanmar. So we are focusing on the particular area. Look East policy and then act East policy. Clear? So what is the purpose of the Gujral doctrine? Good relations with the immediate neighbors. Clear point? This is the basic purpose of the Gujral doctrine. Clear? Maintain good relations with the. Acha. So why India is focusing to maintain good relations with the neighbor? Why? Why there is a need to maintain good relations with the neighbor? Good relations with the neighbors, good relations with the neighbor countries is necessary for the economic growth or development of any country, security purposes and economic development, right? ऐसे आप लोग भी रहते होंगे, आपका ये घर है, क्या है, और यहाँ पड़ोसी है. अब सोचो ये पड़ोसी आपसे हमेशा लड़ते रहते हो, तो आप डेवलप कभी हो पाएंगे? अगर आपके पड़ोसी बहुत अच्छे हैं तो फिर अब आप इसलिए डर रहे हैं कि आपका पड़ोसी आप ताला लगा के जाएंगे, ताला तोड़ के वो चोरी कर लेगा, क्या ही होगा. और हमारे सब पड़ोसी ऐसे ही हैं. ये हम हैं, हम का मतलब यहाँ ये देखो कौन है, अब बताओ ये कौन है, अलग सर दर्द है. ये कौन है, यहाँ जुंटा, अलग टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटीज, promoting terrorist activities, promoting everything in India, promoting terrorist activity. This is Bangladesh. Recently, क्या नाम है उनका, शेख हसीना, वो इंडिया आ गई। रिसेंटली द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ बांग्लादेश इज प्रो पाकिस्तानी और एंटी, ये क्या है, अफगानिस्तान, तालिबान, तालिबान स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय द पाकिस्तान, गवर्नमेंट इन बांग्लादेश स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय द पाकिस्तान, पाकिस्तान तालिबान and government in the Bangladesh sponsored by the China, government in Myanmar sponsored by the, government in Sri Lanka sponsored by the, government in Maldives sponsored by the, government in Nepal Bhutan sponsored by the, this is the string of pearls. China is creating a string mala है ना of pearls मोतियों. So which are the pearls, these are the pearls, this is the string, इससे चाइना घेर रहा है. Governments in these countries are sponsored by the China and they have approach pro Chinese. This is a challenge to the India that how to tackle these governments of these states, because state sponsored terrorism in India, spouse sponsored terrorism in India, issues related to the fishermen, issues state sponsored terrorism, internal security. India is facing the challenge of internal security by the neighbors countries. Internal security is also a part in your syllabus, right? तो वो आपको interlink करना पड़ेगा. International relations, instability in the neighbors countries is a challenge to the internal security of a country. A question of IR internal security. This is the approach to understand. बात समझ आ रही है, ये प्रॉब्लम है. तो सिंस 1947 till the particular time Modi, we are focusing to increase relations, good relations with the neighbors, neighborhood first policy. This is the basic approach of our foreign policy. अच्छा, India is like a big brother in the South Asia. This is the South Asia. India is economically large country, in geographically large country, and politically very strong country, culturally very strong country. These countries were also part of India, right? So India has a different role in this region, role of big brother. So these country according to India, इन्हें कुछ हमसे चाहिए. बड़ा भाई कैसे होता है? बड़ा भाई छोटे भाई के लिए कुछ भी कर सकता है, राइट ना? बड़ा भाई ऐसे ही तो होता है. ऐसे मेरे छोटे भाई हैं, he know he knows the pin code of my ATM, pin of my ATM, बट मुझे नहीं पता what is the pin of भाई साहब का ATM, आई डोंट नो, बट वो जानते हैं एंड वो यूज भी कर लेते हैं. अभी ऐसे करते हैं, हेलो हाँ, एक वो आया है, उसको लिंक पे एस करिए करिए, 2,000 रुपये गए, 2,000 कर, 2,000 रुपये काटे गए, में क्या हुआ, अरे वो कुछ काम था. दिस इज द बिग ब्रदर अप्रोच. सो वी आर पेइंग समथिंग टू द नेबर्स कंट्री, है ना, ये मतलब है. दिस इज द रोल ऑफ द बिग ब्रदर. और उसके बदले हमें कुछ नहीं चाहिए. वी डू नॉट वांट समथिंग फ्रॉम द नेबर्स कंट्री. दिस इज गुजराल डॉक्ट्राइन, राइट? वी आर पेइंग समथिंग यूनिलेटरली, हम उसके बदले कुछ नहीं हमें लेना है. और कौन लोग होते हैं ऐसे, वो कुछ नहीं चाहते आपसे? 3 लोग, मॉम, डैड और गुरु, टीचर. वो भी कुछ नहीं. पहले गुरुकुल चलते थे. कैसे चलते थे? पढ़ने वाले जाके अपने लिए खाना लेके आएंगे और वो आराम से कहाँ, गुरुकुल में रहेंगे. बट अभी भी, अच्छा, व्हाट डू यू थिंक दैट यूपीएससी इज वेरी टफ एग्जाम और वेरी सिंपल एग्जाम? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? थोड़ा गुजराल डॉक्टर, व्हाट डू यू थिंक दैट यूपीएससी इज वेरी टफ एग्जामिनेशन और दिस इज वेरी सिंपल एग्जामिनेशन? No, no, this is not answer. Huh? What is tough or this is simple? Simple. ठीक है, and tough. Most of the 99% students believe that UPSC is very. But who said that UPSC is very tough exam? Coaching owners, teachers, right? Why? If UPSC is not very tough, then why are you paying 150 lakh rupees to the particular coaching? So they promoted that UPSC is very tough. This is not very tough exam. This is very simple examination. This is not a game of the knowledge. This is the game of the aptitude. What is your aptitude? Aptitude like an administrator. So, firstly, you should study the aptitude of the administrator. That what should be aptitude of the administrator and what is the aptitude. So, you should meet a particular IS officer. Below, follow karo the personality of an IS officer. That what are the features of the personality of an IS officer. And if you are following these features, IS officer is very disciplined. IS officer is committed. IS officer is 100% disciplined person. 10 AM means 10 AM in office, है ना? और कोई टाइम नहीं है रिटर्निंग. ऑफिस पहुंचने का फिक्स टाइम, बट हाई लोड वर्क, highly pressurized person, but every time is smiling. Getting point? This is the duty of an IS officer. That an IS officer is dealing to a district. Highly pressurized personality, but everything is smiling. So these are the characteristics of. अगर बनना चाहते हो तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? You are not getting the content of the international relation. What? We are smiling. That after some time we will get hope, positivity. These are the characteristics of an IS officer. Study the life of an IS officer and implement these characteristics in your. This is the game of the aptitude or attitude. This is not game of इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन. आपको लगता है कि इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन इतना सा है, और पढ़ाते रहो कभी खत्म नहीं होगा. बट यूपीएससी क्या चाहता है? एक एटीट्यूड. एंड वो क्या है? डिसिप्लिन, कमिटेड, हार्ड वर्क, स्मार्ट वर्क, है ना? टू कमिटेड विद द पीपल एंड डू द वर्क विद इन द टाइम फ्रेमवर्क. दीज आर द पर्सनालिटी ऑफ एन आईएएस ऑफिसर. ये सब करो अपने आप को. लेकिन हम लोग क्या करते हैं? वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर चार्ट, वी आर फॉलोइंग अवर शेड्यूल 2 days एंड आफ्टर 2 days 3-5 days गायब है, पता नहीं कहाँ है, गायब सब सब, है ना? नहीं, वो नहीं कर सकते. राइट? करना पड़ेगा. दिस इज क्लियर? क्या लिखा? What is the last point? So this is the Gujral doctrine. Note down features of the Gujral doctrine. Features of Gujral doctrine. First feature, non reciprocity. reciprocity. Reciprocity in relations with neighbors. Relations with neighbors. It means unilateral assistance to the help, assistance to the neighbor. Second point, no use of coercion or force against neighbors. COERCION. And force against neighbors. So India never used force against the neighbor, right? Never. हमने कभी भी खुद से अटैक नहीं किया. उन्होंने कहा तो हमने अपने को प्रोटेक्ट किया, बस. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. नेक्स्ट, promoting regional cooperation. Promoting regional cooperation. Promoting regional cooperation. Last point, encouraging regional stability. Regional stability. So these are the principles of the Gujral doctrine. So the Gujral doctrine, these principles have relevancy at the present time. These principles of the Gujral doctrine have relevancy at the present time or not? Note down the significance or the relevancy of the Gujral doctrine. Clear? Note down in this point. These principles of Gujral doctrine, these principles of Gujral doctrine have relevancy in the have relevancy in the changing relevancy in the changing geopolitical environment. Changing geopolitical environment. Next point. In the South Asia, the South Asia, comma, China has aggressive role so on the basis of these principles so on the basis of these principles India can provide unilateral assistance to the neighbors. India can provide unilateral assistance to the neighbors and and India can maintain good relations. India can maintain good relations and counter China in the region. China in the region. Getting? Yeah. In the region. Clear point? Next topic for the discussion is next sub-theme. Foreign policy of India is clear. Panchsheel is clear. Gujral doctrine is clear. Next point is, note down, heading now, non-alignment movement. So in next class, we will discuss non-alignment. So in the region. Are you getting the content or not? समझ आ रहा है कि नहीं?